Hey everyone, how are you? In this video, I am going to guide you how to get a structured text response from the Gemini AI model using Python. We need structured response so that we have some standard responses that can be more beneficial to extract the information. Using the Gemini AI model and the Google GenAI client or the library for Python, we can have our responses, the text responses generated from the model as a JSON or enum values. Basically, when you have a structured response or a standard response, fetching some information is much easier and beneficial. Now, let me show you an example in which we do not have a structured response. Right now, I have a very basic code in the structure.py file. We have imported GenAI from Google and we have a client created. Now we have a simple prompt and the prompt says that list a few popular cookie recipes and include the amount of ingredients. Now the response is equal to an API call to the Gemini AI model. So we can say client.models.generate the content, generate underscore content. The model is Gemini 2.5 Flash and the contents is the prompt. And here we are printing the response. Right now, if I just run the code, you will get the information. You will get a good information, but you will not get a structured response. And now going forward, when I will show you the example of a structured response, you will understand the difference between unstructured and structured response and how structured response is very beneficial. So we have got our response, and if you see the response is really big and it's too big. But let's try to understand it. The response we have got is here are 3 popular cookie recipes with ingredient amounts and instructions to get you baking. We have the classic chocolate chip cookies. This line is about the cookie and this is about the cooking process, and these are the ingredients, and this is the complete process for cooking. Similarly, we have one more data which is chewy oatmeal raisin cookies, and then we have got the same information about the cookie, the cooking process, the ingredients, and the detailed instructions on how to cook. And similarly for the last one, classic peanut butter cookies, we have got the same set of information. But the thing is, guys, if I just run the code again, clear the console and run the code again, you might see a difference in the response structure. Now this difference is because our AI is getting the information or is being trained on the information and it will produce you the information. It is not a if else condition that the response is going to be same every time. So right now, if I see the response we have got, in the response we can see that here are a few popular cookie recipe. Earlier it was here are 3 popular cookie recipe. And now we have got the data or the details, and we have got the tips as well this time. So it is a good information, but utilizing this information can be a little bit tedious task. Now let me show you how getting the response in a structured format is going to make the difference. First of all, we need to define our structure, that what kind of response we need. For that, I am going to make use of Pydantic. So I can say from Pydantic import base model. Pydantic is a Python library which is used for data validations and defining data models. So we are going to define a data model using this base model, and our data model is going to be a class. So let's create a class and call that class as recipe. We need recipes, right? So we can say class recipe. It will have the parent as the base model, and let's have 2 fields we need for a recipe. We need the recipe underscore name, which is going to be in string format, and we need the ingredients. And this is going to be a list of strings. So we need a recipe name and we need the ingredients, which is going to be a list of different ingredients we need to cook this particular recipe. Now the thing is, guys, if you do not know about Pydantic, it's completely fine. Just know that it is used for data validations and creating data models. So we have created a simple class, a Python class, which is a Pydantic data model. It is having the parent class as base model, and these are the 2 fields. Now we just need to use this class when we are making a request to the Gemini API using the generate content method. We can say we need to add a config, and this will be equal to a list, and this is going to have 2 keys. The first key is going to be response underscore mime underscore type. We need the response in application slash JSON format. So we need the response in JSON format and not a normal string. And the schema which this should follow is something we need to provide. So we can say this is the response schema, and the schema should be a recipe. Now, since we are saying that list a few popular cookie recipe, we need multiple recipes, right? So we don't just pass the recipe directly, pass it as a list. We need list of recipes, right? Every recipe is going to have 2 fields. First is a recipe name, which is a string. ingredients, that's the second field, which is a list of strings. And now you will see how a small change of adding a schema, we are going to get a structured response, which is much more useful. So if I just run the code again and wait for the response, you will definitely get a much better response. So now this is what you have got as the response. Let me just copy this data and open this data in a JSON viewer. And in this JSON viewer, let me just paste the data. And what we have got as a response is an array of 3 elements. Let me zoom in a bit. And now you can see we have got an array of 3 elements, right? All these 3 elements are nothing but recipes. Number 1, and then we have got number 2, and then we have got number 3. Every data in this array is a JSON, which has a recipe name and it has ingredients. Every ingredients are strings. So this is a much better and structured response, and we can extract much more information from this response as compared to the previous one, because parsing a JSON data and utilizing a JSON data is much more easier as compared to parsing and utilizing a text data which doesn't even have a structure. So this is how you can just create a simple model, and you can tell your generate content method that the response schema should be this one and the response MIME type should be this one, which is the application JSON. So this is how you can generate JSON data. Now what about if you want to generate enum values? For example, what if you want one more field in this recipe, which is, let us say, grade. Let us call this field as grade, or let us call this field as rating, and let's create another model which is an enum type of model. So we can say class grade, and the parent of this is going to be enum.enum. We actually need to import enum for this. Enum means enumerated values or a category of values. So we can just import enum, and I have a set of enum values for grade, which are these values. We have A plus, whose value will be A plus. We have A, then B, C, D, F. Should be E, right? So let me make it as E. So we have some grades, right? Now I want my recipe to have a recipe name, to have ingredients, and also have a rating. So this rating should be of type grade. And before we run the code, this should be enum with N, U, and M lowercase. E should be the uppercase. Now let's run the code and let's wait for a response. So we are expecting a response in which I'm getting some list of recipes, in which we are going to have the recipe name, the ingredients, and we are also going to have a rating. Now this rating will be an enum value of type grade. So it will either be A plus, A, B, C, D, E. So now if you will notice the response, we got some ratings as well. Let me just copy the data and paste the data here. And now you will see that we got a recipe name, we got ingredients, and we got the rating as well. Now it has provided the rating according to its own knowledge and thoughts, which is fine. But now you can see the ratings are A plus, or it is A, or it is B, right? So we are forcing our model to give a response in our own structured format so that we can utilize this information in a much more beneficial way. So this is how you can have a standard JSON and enum response generated from the Gemini AI model. So that's it for this video, guys. If this video has helped you to understand about standard responses and why do we need it and how to implement it, then make sure that you hit that like button. And if you have not subscribed to my channel as of now, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well. And if you have any doubts, then make sure that you put it in the comment box. And I will see you guys in the next video. I want to see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this one.